everyone thought by now that Walmart would be the only retailer left. It just really hasn't happened. The consumer, in my opinion, is always going to want the sensory feel, the sensory experience of shopping. And whether that's going into a Sephora or whether that's going into a vitamin shop or whether that's going into a Target, people like to shop. And yes, there's a hell of a lot of ease. There's a hell of a lot of, positives about Amazons and every other .com out there. But, I think the sensory aspect is not going to go away. And it's a fear, it's a threat. It's gonna take a chunk out of retail, brick and mortar retail, no doubt about it. But it's not going to go away. I mean, the sensory aspect is such a key element to, the public shopping habits.
Could you? And it was interesting because you had said, one of the key things that you're looking for is marketing spend, and as we now have an ability to micro-target online. Can you imagine where you might launch products online, see how well they do using some of that sort of very targeted marketing, digital marketing, and then bring it onto your brick-and-mortar shelves 6 months or a year later based on how well it's doing online?
Yeah, and I think it can go both ways. I think you can launch it at retail and take it to e-commerce. I think it works both ways, and I think you hit on a great point, though. I mean, the whole demographic piece is something that all too many suppliers, gloss over too quickly. And I say that, and again, I don't know what business you guys are in, but it sounds like some sort of cleaning, household cleaning type of stuff. But, fragrances in the Hispanic market, lavender. Obviously, in the Hispanic world, lavender is a huge thing. So the next time somebody launches a different fragrance, why don't we start with a market that's very, very targeted and try to grow it from there? I don't see that happening enough. Mm-hmm. I see also many suppliers want to come out and they want to do these big national launches, and no matter what you're launching, it's not 100% of the demographic that's out there.
Yeah, that's true.
Start small, start refined, spend a lot of money in a small demographic, and then grow it from there. Build the consumer confidence and the retailer confidence. It's a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah. Yes and no, because it is very expensive to do a national launch, and yet it's hard to get distribution if you're not spending behind it and getting a national launch. Right. And so I think that's the catch-22 a lot of us are in, of how to get out of that.
Well, that's very true, but and not to be argumentative at all, but I mean, if you take a Hispanic type product or a Hispanic type fragrance or flavor or something like that, and you say, guess what? I'm going to launch it in Texas. I'm going to launch it in Florida.
Sure.
And spend a significant amount of money in a very key market, that the retailer participates in, the retailer supports and can see and feel and analyze and get the instant feedback, from the data and their personnel in the stores. I just see that as an opportunity for suppliers to be a little more nimble and gain trust at a less expense.
Yeah. And even still, you mentioned very targeted markets like Florida, Texas. But if I'm guessing if someone came to you with a Hispanic targeted product, given the proliferation of stores in a very good way that Walgreens has, you'd probably still carry that item in every one of your DCs and then just put it into those high Hispanic neighborhoods with the intelligence you have.
That's very true. But you as a supplier can't market to 10 stores in Chicago.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You can take the state of Florida and you can get all the CVS's and all the Walgreens and all the Targets and Walmarts. You can't market to 10 stores in Chicago.
Yep, very true.
Yeah,
very
you
true.
can hit. You can digitally. You can actually slice that a lot.
Yeah, it
finer.
depends on what your marketing mediums are, but for a big hit, TV, the typical traditional campaigns, yeah.
That's a lot harder.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been involved with the whole target marketing thing. I was involved with a big Hispanic play in Florida. We started with Miami, went to the whole state of Florida, then grew to California and Texas and things like that. And it was a very methodical, but prudent